mobilization and critical infrastructure even before ground operations begin. That has triggered an important debate. Is India adequately prepared to deal with a missile-centric conflict? Experts argue that while India has missile systems like Agni, BrahMos and Nirbhay, it still lacks a dedicated rocket force, a specialized command responsible for planning and executing conventional missile operations. The argument is that India doesn't need to match China's missile for missile, but it must have the ability to inflict enough damage to convince Beijing that any missile attack would come at a heavy cost. The question is whether India is preparing fast enough for that reality. Should India now fast track the creation of a dedicated rocket force? And is India's missile capability keeping pace with China's growing arsenal? And I'm joined with my expert, our expert, Air Commodore Dr. Ashwinder Singh Bahal. Thank you so much, sir. Are we prepared, sir, with the hypersonic and other missile deployment which is part of their orbit, the Chinese orbit, sir?
That's a very nice topic you have put on first, and great data that you have collected and projected to the audience, and you've highlighted the crucial vulnerability. Let's just analyze it strategically. You know, there are three locations which are very key where these missile launchers and deployments are there. For example, the first is at Korla, which is in Xinjiang province. There is a base 64 headquarters there, which has 809, 812 and 823 brigade of missiles, ballistic missiles. Then we are looking at one that has newly been created, a fourth one of the same base 64 at Golmud, which is in Qinghai. Now, Qinghai is just north of Lhasa. It's about 800 kilometers north of Lhasa. And from Lhasa, Tezpur is about 500 kilometers. So we are looking at 1225 kilometers from Golmud. Then there is Kunming, which is in Yunnan province. Now, this is also roughly about 800 odd kilometers from Chabua. That is the plains of our northeast. And it is about 1500 kilometers from Kolkata. Why am I giving you these distances? You know, most importantly, Korla is 1670 kilometers from Delhi, and Golmud is 1900 kilometers from Delhi. When we are looking at this, what are the missile systems that are based over there? Dongfang 26 and Dongfang 17. 17 is the hypersonic glide vehicle missile, and we are looking at Dongfang 26, which has 4,000 kilometers range. So what it means to tell is that our entire industrial belt of UP, we have 6 defense industrial corridors, are within the range of the first strike from China. And that is the importance that you are trying to do. So in case they choose not just counter force, but they choose counter value target systems, which means they go and attack the industrialized zones in Kolkata, industrialized zones in central India, and I gave you one defense industrial corridor. And then around Delhi, we are not having the immediate ability to respond, primarily because integration of our ballistic and cruise missiles.
So for example, sir, can I ask you one more thing? Does it make a difference, the altitude? Because Himalayas are like this, the plateau is behind. Do they have that height advantage?
Actually, again, I'm very impressed with your knowledge. You know, when we are looking at Korla, and we are looking at Golmud, they are both at high altitudes. In any case, Yunnan is the only one which is at lower altitude. The advantage, like you rightly said, is that they are coming from a low air density area, thereby giving them a higher range and higher Mach speeds. So when we're talking of hypersonic speeds, it is easier to attain when you are coming from a high altitude. And secondly, more energy efficient when they are coming, and therefore getting longer ranges. So that is absolutely great. But the problem is integration first of BrahMos missile, which is now having extended range of 800 kilometers. Integration of Pralay, not yet delivered, but 120 are supposed to come to the Air Force, 250 to the Army, which has a range of 150 to 500 kilometers. We are looking at land attack, long range land attack cruise missile, which was tested a few days back. It has a range of about 1500 kilometers. When we are looking at all this, and we are saying, how does the theater adjust to a threat in the Northern Command and respond to it quickly? Now, we are right now having only Strategic Forces Command, which is part of the National Command Authority. When we are looking at National Command Authority, there is a political council, which is headed by the Prime Minister, Honorable Prime Minister, and then there is an Executive Council headed by National Security Advisor, and the Strategic Forces Command. Operational control of the missiles is with them after the directive is given by the Prime Minister. But what we need today is an integrated force, integrated missile command or rocket force command, which is at the theater level or at a level where immediate response can be given. So the first thing is China must feel what the words that you used, but you meant this reciprocal vulnerability. If they don't feel that our missiles are going to hit their eastern seaboard, which is in the range of 2,400 to 3,000 kilometers, where Agni 2, Agni 3, and Agni 4 missiles would be required, then they would be not very, convinced to not use against counter value systems in our country. So if we have protect our major cities, protect the defense industrial corridors.
Is hypersonic the real issue, sir? That we don't have hypersonic?
Right now, actually,
and they have deployed it.
No, in fact, our Agni 4 is Mark 24. Agni 3 is Mark 12. In fact, after Agni 1, all the missiles are hypersonic missiles. They are in the range of Mark 7, 10, 12, and 24. So the Agni series is hypersonic. And when we are looking at BrahMos, the coming versions, that is BrahMos 2, which is likely to come in another 3 to 5 years, is also going to be hypersonic. So it is not, they have CJ-1000, which is a hypersonic cruise missile, the one that you were mentioning, they have this hypersonic. But most of their ballistic missiles are hypersonic. Most of our ballistic missiles are hypersonic. So it is going to be a problem to intercept. We have 4 S-400 squadrons. We are coming up with Project Kush, and we are also coming up with additional S-400 squadrons. One, in any case, we have bought the 5th one, which is going to come up very soon. That is by next year. And then we need 5 more squadrons. So that is one. Then we have a integrated ballistic missile defense, that is Prithvi air defense and advanced air defense. These are not yet fully operational. Their phase 1 is operational, but the phase 2 now has to be operationalized on the quick, so that when we talk of, the Prime Minister was mentioning Sudarshan Chakra, it actually integrates all these. It integrates the S-400, it integrates the Prithvi air defense, it integrates the advanced air defense system. So we need to operationalize them quickly. Today, for the next 5 years, we are vulnerable, like you rightly said. But after 5 years, let me assure you, the vulnerability is not going to be strong. Why? Because quantitatively, we are not that badly off, like it is being projected sometimes outside. I don't know why this hype is being created about China. Yes, they are quantitatively superior. They have 3,100 ballistic missiles to ours, which could be anywhere from 1,000 to 1,500, which means they are twice the number. But that is not that big, because their area of responsibility is quite large. And they have 400 cruise missiles, including the CJ-1000 that we were talking about. We also have that. In fact, Army has 5 regiments, which each has 65 missiles, 325 there. Air Force has, Navy has. When we add all that, probably we are superior in BrahMos cruise missile capability than the Chinese cruise missile capability. So where we lack is only ballistic missile defense, which we need to operationalize.
Basically, I've run short of time very quickly. We don't lack in hypersonic missiles, we lack in ballistic missiles.
No, we lack right now in hypersonic, which are not ballistic missiles. So because all ballistic missiles in our inventory today are hypersonic. Just take it like that. And Agni 2, 3, 4, 5, all are hypersonic, including 5 being at Mark 24. And only is cruise missile, which is likely to come up very soon. Last thing I want to say, what we need is an integrated rocket force.
So basically you are saying is what we really require is an integrated rocket force. On this note, I need to close it, sir, because I've really run short of time. The baton needs to be passed. But thank you as always. It's a pleasure to have you on my show. I mean to say, you just break down everything in such nice details. Any person who does not have a defense background or doesn't read much of defense will know exactly where we stand, where China stands, what is the issue. Thank you, sir. Thank you. And this is all I have on Point tonight. Thank you and good night.
इसमें है फाइबर, बीटा ग्लूकोन, प्रोटीन, मैग्नीशियम तत्व, इसलिए ये शारीरिक संतुलन के साथ साथ शरीर को स्वस्थ रखता है। लायन ओट्स फैमिली, सुपर एक्शन फैमिली।
Why has Iran stopped the traffic in the Strait of Hormuz?
They want to attack us, they want to target us, so we have to defend ourselves.
They are punishing countries outside the region as well, like India, and like countries in South and East Asia. This is completely unacceptable.
But it amounts more to harassment than anything else. The big problem